and it's given rise to speculation as to whether he's willing, whether he is preparing to enter a party into the upcoming elections. And it unsettled the oracle at his yesterday's press conference, because suddenly now
set a mouth load on the police force. Put aside what he said about President-in-waiting Azruddin Mohamed. Put aside what he said about Azruddin Mohamed. Put aside what he said about him. He retract what he said about the police force. And then you got Hickens' best friend, Calvin Brutus. He said a mouthful. All this is on Clifton Watch, you know. All of this is on reprehensible actions Clifton Hickens watch. All of this. They're telling us that Deon Bascom has apologized. This is the reports for what he said about Mr. Azruddin Mohamed. And in turn, as Nigel would say, the kindly gentleman has dropped the suit.
You've worked very hard. You've done well. I might sound a little prejudiced if I ask you to congratulate the General Manager for a job well done in 2024. He has worked under tremendous pressure.
And Donald Trump has blamed the recent fatal attacks in New Orleans and Las Vegas on President Joe Biden's immigration policies. In a social media post, Donald Trump said President Biden's open border policy is the reason behind increasing radical Islamic terrorism and other violent crimes in the country. The Republican added that President Biden and his allies have also caused lasting damage to the United States.
One love, my people, and welcome back to The Flight. If you haven't already, buddy, thumbs up the video and hit that subscription button. Our commitment to you is that we will keep improving your experience here on The Flight every single time that you hit that play button. Thanks, buddy.
Who won? Standing in front of the Stabroek market as the backdrop was Mr. Azruddin Mohamed giving his Christmas message. Now, unless I'm mistaken, that is a force. I don't recall the Mohammeds giving any Christmas message before. But what would be the implication anyhow? Because I would think that Mohammeds are just ordinary citizens. But for it to be given that prominence and seem to have been the buzz because it seems to have gone viral, and it's given rise to speculation as to whether he's willing, whether he is preparing to enter a party into the upcoming elections. And it unsettled the oracle at his yesterday's press conference, because suddenly now it would appear that the Mohammeds, if they're going to enter the political arena on their own, as opposed to what they did during the local government election, going as on a PPP slate, is going to pose problems for the PPP. That is still to be seen. But clearly, the oracle not taking chances. He has let out a salvo on Ms. Mohamed. We will see how that will develop. However, it is interesting that not only did he use Stabroek Market as his backdrop, the iconic, I don't know if it's still iconic, but let's just use it. It's been around a long time. Been very famous too. The iconic Stabroek Market as his backdrop. But it's interesting in the message that fortunately only one set of people was seen traversing in his message. And I think when he looks back, he might think that perhaps, it wasn't the best place to do that message, because it's subliminally sending a message to that particular constituency. That particular constituency, as if he's targeting that particular constituency. I may be reading a lot into it, and perhaps I am, but
Mr. Jordan,
still.
sorry, let me interrupt your train of thoughts. I like to look at these things from all angles. While in that video you're seeing one set of people, as you see, they might be the targets. Look at the philanthropic videos, and you'll tell me if you see the same trend. Proceed.
Yeah, well, that's why what I'm trying to, as well as you correctly put out there, all I'm suggesting is though, if my analysis is correct, anywhere near correct, it comes back to my mathematical formula. Right? It comes back to my mathematical formula. How do you divide a minority to achieve a majority? These pieces of parties that seem to come up every time there is an election seem to target virtually only one constituency. And that constituency already is in a minority in terms of numbers. And if everybody's going to target one constituency, what is the effect? They just want to get into parliament as opposed to get into power? So let's see how that goes. I just thought I would mention it because, as I said, if that is not the case, then it's sending subliminal messages to that constituency, targeting that constituency. So let's hope he comes out with more videos that has a broader spectrum, that given his philanthropic endeavors in various constituencies of work, that his attempts will be broader. And his outreach, his political outreach will be broader. But I thought I would mention.
Study hard, work hard, play harder. Verb, nerve, and muscle power. Keep thinking and moving at any age. Verb, nerve, and muscle power.
Prominent businessman Azruddin Mohamed has dropped the $200 million lawsuit against Police Sergeant Deon Bascom. Bascom was sued by Mohamed for implicating him in the murder of Ricardo Fagundes, called Paper Shorts. Fagundes, 42, a gold miner and biker of Kitty, Georgetown, was gunned down outside a popular nightclub on Main Street, Georgetown, in March 2021. At the time of his death, Fagundes and his close friend, Roger Khan, were together sharing a few drinks with other acquaintances at the night spot in the capital city. He had stepped out of the establishment to move a pickup closer to the establishment's entrance, but as he was heading to the vehicle, two men emerged from a white-tinted Toyota Fielder wagon and riddled him with bullets using high-powered weapons and escaped in the waiting car afterward. On Thursday, the businessman revealed that he withdrew the case against Bascom. Mohamed told the news that he withdrew the matter after the policeman apologized for the implication. He said, "We just dropped because it's a waste of time going after that. We didn't have anything to gain from it, and Bascom reached out and apologized, so I forgave him. I'm sorry for him. He is out of a job and is in a really bad situation."
Samsung, keeping us connected no matter where in the world we're located.
Said a mouth load on the police force. Put aside what he said about President in waiting, Azruddin Mohamed. Put aside what he said about Azruddin Mohamed. Put aside what he said about him. He retract what he said about the police force. And then you got Hickens' best friend, Calvin Brutus. He said a mouthful. All this is on Clifton Watch, you know. All of this is on reprehensible actions Clifton Hickens Watch. All of this. All of this, they're telling us that Deon Bascom has apologized. This is the reports for what he said about Mr. Azruddin Mohamed. And in turn, as Nigel would say, the kindly gentleman has dropped the suit. The kindly gentleman has dropped the suit. You could tell Azruddin has a good heart. You could tell. It shines through. And I think that's why this New Year's message was so powerful. You know, the likes and shares they're watching, views, that's what they're watching. Likes and share, that's what they're keen on. So they're watching it. That's what they're watching keenly, very, very keenly. Last time we saw it, that video had just the likes on it on TikTok, 40,000. That's the kind of adulation Jagdio wants for himself. He wants, when you see him, he must say, Jagdio for president, third term, fourth term, Jagdio. People saying Azruddin. People in the comments, Azruddin. You can tell, he has a good heart. It comes through, you know. It comes through. People think that the higher you go, the easier things get, the harder it gets, the more people see you. And you can't hide. I ain't saying Azruddin must got some bad ways. I'm not saying that. Must got like any of us. You want about bad ways, you ask me wife about me. Whatever she said is the bad ways, I agree. I am instructed to say, I agree. My lawyers have advised me, counsel, I agree with what the lady says. So Bascom, from the reports, he has apologized. He has apologized. And Azruddin done got him money already. So he had 50 million more. He ain't desperate. Azruddin probably done give 50 million away for the new year already. He got it like that. He got it like that. He wasn't in it for the money. Like how some people trying to make money off of you with these suits. So he said, all right, you apologize. Drop this matter. He dropped the matter. He dropped the matter. But I'll say something controversial. I'll be out of character. I'll be very out of character. I'll say something controversial. Because Birdless premises question to Big Head saying, should people with sanctions be running? That's what he said. Should people with sanctions be running? Hear me out. How much indictments Trump had? I don't think I am going to be fearful for a man who has an indictment or a sanction or two to run for anything. But the US telling me they can't run or shouldn't run. How much indictments Trump had? Rape story. I'm trying to remember the one with Miss Carol. Was that a conviction? They had some technicality there. She sued him and all of that. Got some big monies too. How many stories? January 6th. How many indictments? How many cases? You don't have no brief for Azruddin Mohamed. I ain't got no brief from Azruddin Mohamed neither. I don't have no brief for them. It's all content to me. As a content creator, it's all content. But I am not going to let the US dictate for me if one of my citizens should have my vote or not. No. If you all could put forward and elect some proper candidates yourself, then I'm not going to let the US dictate for me. If Azruddin could be president in my country, I'm not going to let them do that. And I would fight anybody who fighting for that. Say, oh, the manga sanctions, he shouldn't run. US sanctioned Trump, he can be sworn in what? 17 days, 16 days. US courts sanctioned Trump. He tried to overturn the will of the people. He had sexually assaulted this woman here. Look what he did over there. Look what he did in the corner there. How many cases? And not just cases. A lot of them won by the litigants who brought them. And you can tell me, that's number one. I told you I'm going to be controversial. The other thing you learn in international relations, you ain't got no friends, you ain't got no enemies. All you got is interest. You think control all this aisle here tomorrow. We're dealing in hypotheticals. Y'all don't say, oh God, like he done with Harbury, done with Nigel. Relax. You think tomorrow Azruddin sit down there, Shivni Ranch and Paul Drive, sitting on this oil well, USA well, we can talk with Putin. We want Azruddin the oil, let me talk with Putin. If them boys could talk, if Donald Trump could go and talk with Kim Jong-un, you think he got a problem with Azruddin? If Trump could go and talk to Kim Jong-un, think Azruddin? Y'all better wake up. Y'all got a lot of camps. That's the problem here. If we were like the Americans and we change, soon just slip up your gun, we might get a better democracy. But people failing, we be going down with them. How much time Jagdia must fail before you recognize this man can't manage nothing? Just such the fluff and bluff talk. You got some young talent like Norton coming up. Young talent like Nigel Hughes, Azruddin Mohamed, and he running scared. Could you imagine if these men come together? Nice time. Y'all can imagine that? A ticket, broad ticket. Y'all tell me who's leading all of me concerned with them. Let them work itself out. Everybody under the big tent. We could turn this country around, make it a better place for generations to come. Y'all can imagine big house, big tent ticket. Whoever is president, prime minister, vice president, 40 vice president, be concerned. One big tent. Y'all could imagine that? Nice time. Nice time, folks. It's going to be an interesting year. I'll give you that. It's going to be an interesting year.
Statements from Rickford Burke allege that PPP mob boss allegedly threatens to direct Guyana police to charge Azruddin Mohamed with Paper Short's murder if he runs for president. A leading member of the PPP and a top PPP government official known for using the Guyana police force to carry out his dirty work, including extrajudicial killings, has allegedly threatened Azruddin Mohamed that if he runs for president of Guyana, the PPP will direct the Guyana police force to charge Azruddin Mohamed with the murder of Ricardo Paper Shorts Fagundes. This is a strange development since the Guyana police force 2 years ago called a 2-hour press conference to inform the Guyanese nation that there is no evidence to suggest that the Mohammeds were involved in the Paper Shorts killing. So where will the evidence come from now? Bharat Jagdeo's back pocket? We know the police are the PPP's mercenary force that frames the enemies of the PPP with malicious crimes. Let's wait and watch.
100% well-crafted CMOS. Only the best, 'cause you deserve nothing less. 8 Butterfly.
The pensioners' cash grant distribution, which began on Monday, continued to be plagued by disorganization and delays yesterday, and it is unclear how many are still to receive their $100,000 checks from the government. Some pensioners are now being informed that their checks are not ready and may not be available until the end of January. Originally, they had been assured by President Irfan Ali that the checks would be available before November last year. This stretched into December, and while thousands of checks have been shared to persons 18 and over, the process has been marred by problems, long lines, and lengthy delays. Hundreds of pensioners who turned up yesterday at the National Insurance Scheme, NIS office in Clean Puduroyan, West Bank Demerara, were informed that their checks might be at the Leonora branch on the west coast of Demerara, despite having registered at the Clean Puduroyan office. The lack of clear communication has forced some pensioners to make multiple trips between locations, further compounding their frustration.
Because I can't see that they tell you don't and they say no, you're in the plastic. I'm gonna get mad. Look, I come here this morning, 4 o'clock, just for you my number. Up now you can't have fucking number. What the scunt is this? Give one number. They share no number. I come and they sit down. Put me mother actually and there for 6:30. What you say right there? Nobody was in front here. But that is called enough to get the number. That church don't wrong just for number. Tell me, hey, old people, I ain't get no mercy. Serious. Some other session about PPP office. Me go about PPP office and make report. I even see. Because you can't sit up here and say, you never get to. I tell you, you're not making one day, Tuesday, he gets you. You're not saying that sharing number passing you. Sharing it, friend. People come in from there and get it first and you get it last. It's not fair. It's not fair. That is she right can't be right. Wrong. I always gotta be wrong. You got to keep going back and go forward. Fair must be fair. Only we go, man.
Samsung, keeping us connected no matter where in the world we're located.
This party, man. Huh? What's it there? You young like y'all going shop. I'm going to shop. All right. Thank you, Mr. Watson and HR for getting everybody together. First working day in 2025. and I'm visiting with all of the agencies for two purposes. One, to say a big thank you all for a successful 2024. You've worked very hard. You've done well. I might sound a little prejudiced if I ask you to congratulate the General Manager for a job well done in 2024. He has worked under tremendous pressure, maintaining that bridge and that access, navigating the requests of the maritime community and all those who want to transit, maintaining the bridge, and I'm really proud of our maintenance crew. You have delivered on everything that we have to do, sometimes in very short periods of 1 hour, 2 hours when we have closures. You have made a request, you have granted it, and you have delivered well. We're getting ready for the new bridge, but even as we get ready for the new bridge, this one still has to serve its purpose until we can transition to there. So 2025 we should have the new bridge, but we want to make sure that we have this one maintained and very well continue to serve the public. All of you here know very well that if this bridge just shut down for 1 hour, what happens to the whole country? And I want to thank all of you for the effort that you have been putting in. So the first, I want you to put your hands together for Mr. Watson. Give him a applause. And then I want you to put your hands together for all of you. Now listen, while he might be the leader of the team, he can't do it without you. And the support that you have given is what is very important. And as a minister responsible, I want to let you know how appreciative I am of everything that you've been doing in all of the various areas that you operate. And I want to say a big thank you, and that is from the bottom of my heart. The government of Guyana, we appreciate everything that you're doing. President Ali, he appreciates everything that you're doing here at the bridge, and we look forward for a productive year together in 2025. So my best wishes to you all personally, to your family. You might have some staff that didn't get here because they have to maintain critical services. Please extend my best wishes to them as well. And on the 11th, I'll spend time with you in the party. I'll grow my hair for that day. So if I grow my hair and get special incentive, yes, sir.
The General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPPC, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, emphasized that the government has been working to tackle income inequality among the population with the rollout of several initiatives. Responding to questions during his weekly press conference on Thursday, Jagdeo explained that one of the main ways of tackling income inequality is by increasing employment among the population. He explained that the government has opened up tremendous opportunities for job creation over the past 4 years. In terms of finding jobs, more people today have found jobs than 4 years ago. At least they're earning. Disposable income has gone up. I told you in the public service itself, public servants in total are taking home $500 million per year more than they were taking home in 2020. Jagdeo noted that it is also about equipping the population with the tools needed to secure higher-paying jobs. So what are the tools? You, first of all, have to be healthy. And so investment in healthcare, so you don't have a cost associated with major healthcare expenditure, because poor people can't afford that. And secondly, you're better educated, so you can get a higher-paying job.
A 41-year-old Mason, Curran Backus, was killed early Wednesday during a dispute with his younger brother, Deepak Backus, at Cotton Tree, West Coast, Burbis. Curran Backus lived at Lot 36, section of Cotton Tree, WCB. The incident took place on January 1, 2025, around 1:30 HRS, at the home of Sukrani Backus, their mother, at Lot 35, section of Cotton Tree. Deepak Backus, age 27, Mason, and his wife Tina also lived at the home. Police investigations revealed that Curran, who lived next door with his wife, Sita Churchan, reportedly went to confront Deepak after learning that his wife had been prevented from entering the yard by Deepak. According to police reports, Curran had been drinking alcohol when he found out about the altercation involving his wife. Curran was drinking alcohol when he found out that Deepak had prevented his wife, Sita Churchan, from entering the yard where their mother lived, the police reveal. In a fit of anger, Curran rushed to his mother's home, forcefully entered the yard, and confronted Deepak. This led to a physical altercation, with both men falling to the ground. Curran struck his head, causing him to bleed from his nose and appear dazed, police said. Curran was transported to the New Amsterdam Public Hospital but succumbed to his injuries while receiving treatment. Curran's wife told police that her husband had suffered a head injury in Trinidad back in 2015, where he was attacked by two men and chopped, which required surgery. Deepak was arrested following the incident and under caution told police that he was home with his mother and wife when he saw Curran and his sister-in-law attempting to push down their front gate. When the family approached the couple, Curran allegedly pushed Deepak, but struggled to do so and fell himself. Deepak further alleged that, while Curran was on the ground, he cuffed Curran twice and then noticed blood coming from Curran's nose. He attempted to clean the blood, and with assistance from his mother and a driver, they took Curran to the New Amsterdam Public Hospital, where he later passed away, Deepak told police. Deepak Backus is currently detained at the Blairmont Police Station, and investigations into the incident are ongoing.
During an attempt to arrest a man at Riverview, Ruimveldt, Georgetown, early Thursday morning, police found an illegal firearm and ammunition that were dropped by the suspect as police chased him. According to a statement, police said that they had received information around 2:30 URCs and proceeded to the Ruimveldt Riverview area, where they spotted a male suspect dressed in a black jersey and black long pants. Upon seeing the police, the suspect ran away. As the ranks approached him, he began running west into Ruimveldt Riverview. The ranks chased him, during which he dropped a black plastic bag, which the ranks retrieved, police reported. Upon inspecting the bag, officers found a black and silver handgun without a serial number, along with 3 suspected 9mm rounds of ammunition. Despite efforts to locate the suspect, he was not found. Several individuals in the area were questioned, but no useful information was obtained. The firearm and ammunition were marked, sealed, and lodged at the Ruimveldt police station. They will be submitted to the ballistics section for processing. Investigations into the matter are ongoing.
What be told is that I will not be offering myself again to represent anyone either in Trinidad or in Tobago. 45 years is a long time. And I would like at this time to say thank you. Appropriately along the way to all of those who have supported my effort and who have benefited from it. I hope I will have positively impacted this country somewhere, sometime. As we settle Tobago screening tomorrow, I continue to be the political leader of the PNM. We will call for nominations in the other seats where I represent the people of Diego Martinez, who have supported me resolutely from 1991 to now. And I will thank them appropriately and ensure that they are not left adrift. But I will not be offering myself, as I just said. And I'll say something else. Before the end of the legal limits of this term, I will resign this office and go off to my family.
We begin in the United States, where incoming President Donald Trump has blamed the recent fatal attacks in New Orleans and Las Vegas on President Joe Biden's immigration policies. In a social media post, Donald Trump said President Biden's open border policy is the reason behind increasing radical Islamic terrorism and other violent crimes in the country. The Republican added that President Biden and his allies have also caused lasting damage to the United States. Donald Trump's comments come after the terror attack in New Orleans and a Tesla Cybertruck blast outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas fueled the narrative that crime is spiraling out of control in the final days of the Biden administration. Seizing on the tense situation, Donald Trump supporters are leading with the idea that only the upcoming national security team and a crackdown on immigration will fix the issue. Trump's controversial cabinet picks are trying to capitalize on these attacks to secure a quick Senate confirmation, a battle that is expected to come in the coming weeks. Notably, Donald Trump and his allies initially claimed that the New Orleans attacker who drove a truck with an ISIS flag into a crowd killing 15 was an immigrant. However, the FBI said that the suspect, who was shot dead by the police, was a U.S. Army veteran born in Texas and had been inspired by the terrorist group to carry out the attack. Meanwhile, on Thursday, President Biden said the attacker acted alone and there was no evidence that what happened in New Orleans was linked to the explosion in Las Vegas.
As I said yesterday, the attacker posted several videos just several hours before the attack, indicating his strong support for ISIS. Federal law enforcement and the intelligence community are actively investigating any foreign or domestic contacts and connection that could possibly be relevant to the attack. And so we're also continuing to investigate whether or not there's any connection between the New Orleans attack and the explosion in Las Vegas. As of now, they've just been briefed. They have not found any evidence of such a connection thus far.
The outgoing commander-in-chief added that ISIS will find no safe harbor in the United States.
People in New Orleans are sending an unmistakable message. They will not let this attack or the attackers' deluded ideology overcome us. None of us should fear that it will overcome us. We're going to continue to relentlessly pursue ISIS and other terrorist organizations where they are, and they'll find no safe harbor here. I'll continue to provide updates in New Orleans and Las Vegas as the facts develop.
Meanwhile, new details have emerged about the driver inside the Tesla Cybertruck that burst into flames outside the president-elect's hotel. Authorities have identified the man as Matthew Livelsberger, an active-duty U.S. Army soldier who was on leave when he died on Wednesday. Now, contrary to previous information, Livelsberger shot himself in the head before the explosion and likely planned to cause more damage.
It's not lost on us that it's in front of, of the Trump building, that it's a Tesla vehicle, but we don't have information at this point that definitively tells us or suggests it was because of this particular ideology or any of the reasoning behind it. That's the purpose of the investigation that we're conducting, is to get to the bottom of exactly what happened, why and how.
Now, as the details of the two attacks continue to emerge, Republicans are doubling down on attacks on President Biden's border policies to inject momentum in the debate on illegal immigration.
Envoy eyes similar opportunities for other Guyanese athletes. The extraordinary talent of Guyanese athlete Malachi Austin has propelled him to a life-changing opportunity, earning him a full scholarship to Louisiana State University, LSU, athletics, thanks to a glowing recommendation from the United States, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Nicole D. Terrio. Ambassador Terrio, an LSU alumna, shared her admiration for Malachi's ability during an exclusive interview with the Guyana Chronicle. Her connection with Malachi began during his participation in the U.S. Department of State Sports Envoy program last summer. This initiative brought 2 U.S. track and field Olympians to Guyana for a week-long training workshop, which saw the participation of 200 young athletes from the region. Malachi impressed me instantly with his enthusiasm, his maturity, and his incredible talent, Ambassador Terrio remarked. As an LSU alumna, I knew we had a world-class track and field program. We often win national championships and routinely send LSU athletes to the Olympics and World Championships. I asked Malachi if he would be interested in running for LSU, and he immediately showed great interest. Acting on this mutual enthusiasm, Ambassador Terrio reached out to LSU track and field head coach Dennis Shaver, providing video footage and details of Malachi's career accomplishments. Coach Shaver's response was immediate and positive, culminating in a full scholarship offer and a familiarization visit to LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, last December.
Study hard, work hard, play harder. Verb, nerve, and muscle power. Keep thinking and moving at any age. Verb, nerve, and muscle power.
Thanks again for tuning in and spending some time here with us. Here are 2 other topics that you might enjoy. Click on any one.
Folks are trying to get a number, it appears.
Since 5 o'clock I come over. Since 5 o'clock I come over.
Folks are trying to get a number so they get a position in the line, because there are now hundreds of folks across by the National Insurance Scheme, NIS, here in Brickdam.
Whom also I knew. One was George Bacchus, who came to my house and indicated to me who and who were instructing him as to kill who and who in that cemetery. I had to take it to my party, the same Jack deal, and he didn't want to listen. I had to use Mr. Moses Nagamutu, and he also carried it to the Central Committee of the party. And he spoke about it, saying that these fellas are giving Mr. Ramjatan some information, and he has brought it, but nobody wants to listen. They're telling him to shut up. That is largely what they were telling me to do. And indeed, I couldn't shut up. You had to talk. And next thing you hear, George Bacchus' brother died, then he died, and things like that. You know, to shut them up. But